Raider Nation, we need to talk about what's happening with this team, because after the performance against the Washington Commanders, I am genuinely concerned. Watching all three phases completely fall apart is not something you can just shrug off. Offense, defense, and special teams all looked lost out there, and it raises serious questions about preparation. How does a team spend a week preparing for a game and come out performing like this? It's not about individual mistakes anymore. It feels systemic. The offensive line is obviously a huge problem, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. Special teams gave up a kick return touchdown and nearly a second one. Every time a game started, we were already digging ourselves out of a hole, giving up massive yardage right from the kickoff. On defense, there was no execution, no pressure, missed tackles, and a lack of fundamental discipline. How do you not anticipate the Commanders running the football when key players like Jane Daniels are out and Marcus Mariota is under center? It seems like the preparation didn't match the reality of the matchup. And then there's the offense, which somehow managed to look worse than the defense, which I didn't think was possible. This is where the frustration really hits. You want to see a team that responds, adapts, and shows growth from week to week. So far, the Raiders haven't done that. It almost feels like the coaching philosophy and the execution on the field are completely misaligned. Fans deserve better. They deserve a team that fights, that's strategic, and that maximizes the talent on the roster. Watching this team stumble week after week is exhausting because the potential is there, but it's being squandered. The players have skill, but the way they're being deployed, especially in key positions, is holding everyone back. Now, let's talk about the offensive line, because this is the heart of the issue. If you're putting out Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Jordan Meredith, Alex Leatherwood, and DJ Glaze again after what we saw against Washington, there's no other way to describe it but insanity. That group was historically bad last week, and to roll them out without adjustment is baffling. Every sack, every pressure, every blown play shows that continuity is being prioritized over effectiveness. And that's a dangerous mindset in the NFL. You can talk about development and keeping players comfortable, but when the results are this bad, comfort has no place on the field. JPJ at center, Meredith at guard, Parham at right guard. These are the positions that worked last season. They performed at a higher level when properly aligned, and now we're seeing a regression that can't be ignored. Since Brennan Carroll took over, the offensive line has collapsed, allowing 12 sacks in just the first 3 games. That pace is historically embarrassing, threatening to set records for worst pass protection in Raiders history. We have to demand better. The logic is simple. Put the right players in the right positions and give them a leader who knows how to get results. When that was done last season, the line performed. It's not complicated, and the evidence is right in front of us. At the same time, there's a player who deserves far more attention. Trey Tucker. His performance last week was a glimpse of what this offense could be when executed properly. 9 targets, 8 catches, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. He made plays in crucial situations, especially on third downs, stretching the field and creating mismatches. His speed and ability to move pre-snap adds a dimension to the offense that the Raiders desperately need. Yet, he's not being featured enough, and the lack of support from the line limits what he can do. The talent is there, but without protection and consistent opportunities, it's being wasted. We need to see Trey Tucker on the field in multiple roles because he's the player who can force defenses to react, opening up the rest of the offense. Another concern heading into this week is the health and availability of Tite and Michael Mayer. His absence would be a major blow, especially considering how much this offense benefits from 12 personnel. The Raiders need players like Mayer to be healthy and confident on the field. When the tight end is in, the offense has more options, can maintain balance, and can challenge defenses in multiple ways. If Mayer isn't fully ready, the team will need Ian Thomas and other pieces to step up, but the chemistry and timing are different without a fully healthy Mayer. It's not just about one player. It's about the structure and identity of the offense. 12 personnel is where this team functions best, and abandoning it due to injury or caution would reduce the offense to a predictable, less effective unit. Finally, There's the looming challenge of facing a Chicago Bears team that has momentum and confidence. Comparing quarterbacks and coaching styles isn't always fair, but seeing how Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are progressing gives some context. Williams has been impressive through the first few weeks, showing the ability to make big plays and lead his team effectively. The Raiders have to find ways to disrupt him, to pressure him, and to force mistakes because his confidence will dictate how dangerous he can be. The Bears' interior offensive line is solid, meaning the Raiders can't just rely on a blitz or a gimmick. They need sustained, strategic pressure from the front seven and creative defensive planning. This game is not just about individual talent. It's about execution and adjustment. The ability to take what worked against previous teams and apply it under pressure will determine whether the Raiders continue to spiral or begin to show growth and cohesion. Looking deeper into the Raiders' situation, it's clear that the coaching staff has to make some tough decisions this week. You can't just ride the same players and strategies and expect different results. The mistakes are piling up and the frustration is mounting, not just among fans but also among the players themselves. Watching a team stumble week after week erodes confidence, and right now confidence is exactly what this roster needs. It's not about calling out individuals, it's about ensuring the right people are in the right roles. Every play is affected by who's on the field and how prepared they are to execute under pressure. The offensive line, in particular, is the cornerstone of everything that happens offensively. If that unit fails, the quarterback has no time, the skill players get limited opportunities, and the play calling has to compensate in ways that make the offense predictable. When you see sacks piling up, blitzes failing, and the quarterback under constant duress, it's not just a reflection of one bad game. It's a reflection of the foundation cracking under pressure. And make no mistake, the foundation of this Raiders team is shaky. The personnel decisions, the alignment of talent, and the lack of adjustment in response to poor performance are creating a pattern that fans can't ignore. It's not about panic, it's about awareness. The team can't afford to continue on this trajectory if they want to compete in this division or even stabilize at a respectable record. Part of the problem is the apparent disconnect between what the coaching staff sees in practice and what actually happens on game day. You can have schemes and playbooks that look perfect on paper, but if the players aren't executing, it doesn't matter. Week after week, the Raiders are showing that preparation is falling short. They give up massive yardage on special teams, they fail to tackle consistently on defense, and the offensive line cannot protect the quarterback or open running lanes. Continuity only matters if it produces results, and so far, it hasn't. You have to question the mindset of staff that clings to continuity when the evidence is screaming that change is necessary. Every adjustment that isn't made is an opportunity for the opponent to exploit weaknesses that are obvious to anyone watching. And the players are aware of it too. Frustration builds in the locker room when talent isn't used effectively, when schemes don't match the reality of the game, and when accountability feels inconsistent. A team that is unified, focused, and properly led can overcome a rough start. But the Raiders need to see more than just effort. They need to see smart decisions and strategic planning that aligns with the talent on the roster. Trey Tucker remains a beacon of hope in this offense. His ability to stretch the field vertically and create mismatches is the kind of weapon that can change games. Defenses have to account for his speed, which opens up the rest of the offense. Yet he isn't being used to his full potential. He should be running routes from multiple positions, motioning before the snap, and being involved in plays that challenge defensive schemes. Every opportunity he gets should be maximized because his presence fundamentally alters how defenses can play against the Raiders. If the offensive line can provide him and the quarterback enough time, the vertical threat becomes lethal, and the offense can finally function in a way that creates big plays consistently rather than sporadically. This is why personnel decisions are so critical. One player alone can't carry the offense, but when paired with a line that performs and a quarterback who can execute, the ceiling for this team is significantly higher. That's why watching the current setup and seeing the same mistakes repeat is so frustrating. The raw talent exists, but without proper execution, preparation, and leadership, it's squandered week after week. Looking at the tight end situation, Michael Myers' health is a critical factor. 12 personnel has been shown to provide balance, versatility, and efficiency in this offense. Losing Mayer, even temporarily, disrupts rhythm and limits options. Ian Thomas can step up, but chemistry and timing take weeks to develop, and the team doesn't have that luxury midseason. Myers' recovery has to be handled carefully, but the Raiders also have to be prepared to adjust dynamically if he isn't fully available. Injuries are part of the game, but preparation, creativity, and versatility determine how a team responds. The offense cannot become one-dimensional. That is the fastest route to predictability and failure. Mayer being healthy and effective allows the Raiders to stay true to their best offensive principles, and without him, the pressure on the offensive line and quarterback increases dramatically. Each player's ability to execute their role under pressure defines whether the team can compete or simply survive games. On defense, the challenge against a confident Bears team led by Caleb Williams is immense. The Bears' offensive line gives their quarterback time to make plays, which means the Raiders have to rely on discipline, strategy, and execution rather than raw aggression alone. Williams can be a game changer when confident, but if you can disrupt his rhythm, apply timely pressure, and force decision-making, you can tilt the game in your favor. The Raiders have to create chaos without losing structural integrity. Blitzing blindly, overcommitting, or failing to maintain gap discipline will only make the problem worse. The preparation has to be meticulous, because one lapse and the team pays for it immediately. This is where the coaching staff's role becomes undeniable. Adjustments, personnel decisions, and proper execution on both sides of the ball are not optional. They are essential. If these elements fail again, the Raiders risk compounding losses and deepening frustrations that could linger all season. At the end of the day, this team has the talent to compete, but that talent is not being leveraged effectively. Every position group has glaring needs and opportunities for improvement. Offensive line issues, quarterback protection, utilization of skill players like Tucker, tight end health, and defensive adjustments against quality quarterbacks all intersect to define the outcome. The margin for error is small in the NFL, and the Raiders are walking a fine line between underperforming and collapsing entirely. Fans see the potential and demand accountability because they know the pieces exist for success. Execution, preparation, and the right personnel alignment will determine whether this team starts to meet expectations or continues on a downward trend. Week 4 against the Bears isn't just another game. It's an opportunity to show growth, resilience, and smart football, or it becomes another example of what happens when potential is squandered. Raider Nation deserves to see the team rise to that challenge, and every decision leading into this game matters. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what is already being called the most sensational offseason move in recent NFL memory, whispers around the league suggest that Tyreek Hill is on the verge of becoming the biggest signing in Las Vegas Raiders history. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the organization hint that Hill, one of the most explosive and dynamic wide receivers in the game, is heading to Sin City, a move that could instantly redefine the Raiders' offense and send shockwaves through the AFC. Insiders say the Raiders have been in aggressive pursuit of elite talent this offseason, and Hill fits the blueprint perfectly. Known for his jaw-dropping speed, uncanny route running, and ability to turn short passes into game-breaking plays, Hill represents the kind of high-octane weapon that could finally push the Raiders into legitimate Super Bowl contention. Conversations around league circles suggest that the deal could be record-breaking not just for the team, but potentially in the broader context of free agency. Some speculate that the contract is structured to maximize performance incentives, reflecting both Hill's superstar status and the Raiders' commitment to winning now. The timing of the whispers is equally tantalizing. With training camp looming and the regular season just months away, Hill's rumored arrival could force opposing defenses to rethink their strategies entirely. Analysts are already drawing comparisons to other landmark acquisitions in NFL history, noting that if the deal goes through, the Raiders would instantly transform from a team with potential into a true offensive juggernaut. Meanwhile, fans on social media are buzzing with speculation, dissecting possible lineups, and imagining what an attack led by Hill and the Raiders' current stars could look like on game day. Of course, with any blockbuster rumor, there's a mix of excitement and skepticism. Will Hill really choose Las Vegas over other potential suitors? Can the Raiders' front office deliver on the promise of a championship-caliber squad around him? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is clear. If these whispers are true, the NFL world is about to witness one of the most electrifying chapters in Raiders history. The city is already holding its breath, waiting for the confirmation that could change the course of the team forever. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.